And thank you for tuning in once again to Faces of Winchester with Gary Auerbach on WinLife TV. This is episode number 95, and our guest today is Karen Kellison, and she is the Dean of the Cyber Science and Security Department. I think I got that wrong, but she's at Lord Fairfax Community College. Karen, welcome to WinLife TV, first of all.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
What exactly is your position? You're the Dean of...
It's pretty long.
Oh, it is? Okay.
Business, education, and technology.
Awesome.
And so in there, the cyber sciences fall.
Cyber sciences, what does that mean? Most people don't know what it is today.
They don't, although most people are really deeply involved in the cyber world, even though they don't realize it just from their everyday Internet of Things.
Because if I have a password, right?
Sure. Yeah. Anything you're doing online, any time you turn on maps on your phone, anything where you're connecting outside, you're involved in the cyber world. And so cyber sciences and cybersecurity particularly are fields that are booming, and mainly because as people join this Internet of Things, there are other people that like to exploit that to try to get information about people or about organizations. You probably read a lot about that in the paper.
Well, we're hearing now the Panama Papers, is that right?
Well, there's a great deal going on in terms of trying to beat the system in terms of people who are called hackers, but in the trade terms they would be called intruders. And just as quickly as you try to figure out what an intruder might exploit in terms of your networks or your systems, another person has come up with another idea. It becomes just a big cat and mouse game. For people in that field who enjoy the cat and mouse game, it can be good to be on the good side of that and to try to be one step ahead of people in that industry.
And so who is taking the classes that you offer at Lord Fairfax?
Well, we're really excited because we started over a year ago realizing that there was going to be a need in this field. And we have a faculty member, Dr. Henry Kaufman, who's comes to us with a great deal of experience in the field. And he developed a cybersecurity certificate, 7 courses, and even went an extra step and had the NSA review his courses and review our program, and we were awarded the NSA Center for Academic Excellence Award. We're only one of 2 community colleges in the state with it. It's a very prestigious award, meaning that our courses are rigorous, our faculty are knowledgeable. And so right now we are enrolling students in that certificate program. It's been a big success. So we're trying to extend it to a larger program, an associate's degree as well. But the demand for jobs are out there. The governor just had a conference on cyber and education in December. We went, and Lord Fairfax was recognized there. And they had some panels from businesses, and we had business people say, for every 20 jobs we advertise in this field, we have 1 qualified candidate.
Oh my.
So that's huge.
Yeah.
That's huge. So if I had sons and daughters looking to go to school, I'd be cybersecurity, check that out.
Isn't it as changing as fast as you're learning it or being taught?
Well, it is.
It is, right?
That's kind of the way it is with technology in general. I think people who get into those fields enjoy change. They like the fact that tomorrow things might look different or behave differently. And for sure in that field, you've, these businesses that were looking for qualified people said, we've been hiring people who maybe have a liberal arts degree or maybe not even a degree, but who can solve problems in a unique way. who can sort of think like that hacker's going to think and be
Right.
a step ahead of them.
Right, right.
So there's a lot of that critical thinking, problem solving that goes into it. You don't have to be somebody who likes to run wires or connect
Right.
things up necessarily.
Right.
There's a lot of real good brain work going into that as well.
And I was completely mistaken when I said before the Panama Papers, because that's really just a release of documents.
Right, right.
It's not a hack-in.
Not exactly.
Right, yeah, so it's very different.
Yeah.
But the recent incident with the iPhone,
Yeah,
with the
right.
FBI and
Sure.
Apple, is very
Sure.
much along cybersecurity. And
Right.
I guess, did the FBI reveal, their hack in, or?
I don't think so.
No.
But that is one of those slippery slopes.
Yeah.
The balance of a national security issue with writing a code that's essentially going to de-encrypt things
Right.
that you've set up so that they can't be hacked into. So that's a real interesting slope.
But it must be something that just really excites your department or students, because
Sure.
it's like finally what we're studying or what you're all about is like in the news and current, right?
Oh, absolutely. I was just looking at a Forbes magazine article
Yeah.
that was projecting the growth in this field at somewhere in the neighborhood of 74% in the next few years in terms of opportunities. And it makes sense if you think about it, because when are you not connected? We're connected right here. You have
Always.
equipment here connected.
Yeah.
If you use maps on your phone, when you go to the store, you scan your VIP card. I mean,
Yeah.
you have connections.
Yeah.
And you have to, what we hope to do is not only work with our program, but begin to work with even younger children and kids in K-12 to bring them in for camps and talk to them about what it's like when you have a cyber life, because you do.
Right.
You think that when you take a photo with Snapchat, it's gone in 30 seconds. Hey, it's not.
Right.
A lot of people, and especially young kids, aren't really thinking about that. They've grown up in this Internet of Things and they're
Right.
not thinking about that side of it.
Right, right. I did want to ask you about, it's slipping my mind right now, but it'll come back to me. What other things are happening at the other campuses on Lord Fairfax, or is the cybersecurity just at the campus here in Middletown?
Right now, we've started in Middletown in terms of repurposing a room that we have into a lab, because there are some things that we want to do with it. We want to set it up so obviously it's sort of blocked, so that when we're shipping around viruses, we're not actually shipping them out into
Right.
the campus community. So to put up some firewalls for that. We've also, it's going to be a really neat lab in that the networks can be divided, and we're going to have lights, so we can have a blue team and a red team and have some hacking competitions in there. Really hope it'll be a showcase. That work on that will start as soon as the semester's over and run through the summer. For our Warrenton location in Fauquier County, they are going to be offering courses, and they also have been given money to build a new building and support STEM, so they'll be able to have a nice location there to have the courses and have the community in as well.
And do you anticipate being approached by whether military or government or a local business to say, we need help with this?
We kind of feel we have a great partnership with a lot of businesses around now. I mean, part of what a community college does when they propose a program is they have to have an advisory group of businesses and community people to say, yes, there's a need, or no, there's not a need, right? So we have a great connection already with businesses around. What we hope, once we get students who are really energized and want to participate in these national competitions, that we can then get more businesses in as sponsors or mentors or places where students can intern.
Great, great. And when you were growing up, did you imagine this would be the field or something that you would be doing?
Isn't that funny, when people ask you that? when I was growing up, I grew up in Richmond, Virginia, and the big department store at that time was Miller and Rhodes, and all they wanted to do was wrap gifts at Miller and Rhodes.
Oh, really? Okay.
I don't know how that fits, and cyber's not my area of expertise, but I think I probably have a characteristic that most people in technology fields have, and that is I love change. I love to think about how things can be made better. And so in that regard, I guess, I'm in the right place, but I also love education. Education's a big opportunity. My brothers and I were the first people in our family to go to college, so I know how important that is as well, and the community college is where I started.
Excellent.
And so I really believe in the mission, so I'm happy to be at Lord Fairfax doing what we're doing.
That's great. And we just had the director of the library. Were you a big library goer when you were a kid? Were you
funny.
Science fiction, or that's what it sounds like? But.
I was a big library goer. I tell you, my dad took me to the Richmond Public Library. It was really small, and that was the main branch was just a magnificent place. Really, a lot like Hanley Library. Just I'm sure for a young child, that's an amazing place to be. But I don't know. It wasn't really a sci-fi.
No. Okay.
No. Just love to read.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm sure there are people in the department or folks that you know who are in cybersecurity now who just since they were 8 years old, they knew that they would be on to this because it was science fiction then.
Yes, exactly. Well, I tell you.
And now it's real.
It is. Even if you go back and read, E.M. Forster wrote a lot of short stories, and he's, I guess, considered a sci-fi. And he would write about a woman sitting in a room looking at a plate and talking, and then her son's image appears.
Right.
And, and that was in the 40s. And even he wrote some things even earlier than that. And now you think, well, yeah, that's my iPad, and that's FaceTime.
Right.
It's crazy to think those things come to be.
Yeah, and I always think of that even as like mirror, mirror on the wall. I mean, when you ask Siri for something or you're looking for directions.
Right. That's exactly right. Yeah.
It's fascinating times, right?
It is.
The program at Lord Fairfax is right now is 1 year, 2 year. How does it work?
Right now we have a cybersecurity certificate. It's 7 courses.
Okay.
And ambitiously
How long does
you
it
could do
take?
it in 3 semesters.
Okay.
If you were pretty ambitious. You can get hooked contact the college. Dr. Kaufman is our lead faculty, get information about it. So about a year, somebody could walk out with that certificate.
That's terrific. That really is. They just had something called the Widget Cup here in town. Did you hear about that?
No, I do not know. The
So
Widget Cup.
it's not really cyber, but it's high school teams coming together to build a project, and they don't know what it is beforehand. But all of the materials have been bought, and they have to go at it and within a couple hours present it.
Right.
So it's a little bit of one of these, hacker competitions or a maker competition. And that's something that I know is becoming popular. And I know when you said you want to maybe bring competitions to the area, it might go down into the high schools. And I also know because we had your director, Dr. Cheryl, on, she was saying a lot of high school students in the area are taking courses at Lord Fairfax.
Do.
It's amazing.
They can oftentimes dual enroll, meaning they can get high school credit and college credit at the same time.
That's great.
Which is pretty neat.
Yeah.
So those creative thinkers are the people that for sure in cybersecurity are where they should take a good look at it. They like the puzzles, figuring out the puzzles and trying to stay one step ahead of other people.
Do you have opinions about what the local person needs to do, like the minimum security they should have?
Well, I tell you what, I think what you need to do is start paying attention to what your devices are doing for you. A really common one is you'll pick up your phone and you'll want to attach a photo to Facebook, and it says allow Facebook to have access to your photos.
Right.
Then you have to stop and think, well, I don't know, is that really what I want to do, or is there another way I can get that photo there?
Right.
The same thing with location. A lot of people can get information from you just by virtue of you tagging your location all the time,
Right.
or putting up that you're going on vacation for 2 weeks, or,
Uh-huh.
where you work. And, somebody can start piecing together a pretty good picture of you. Not that necessarily they're out for you per se, but in typical hacking instances, they're out for enough information about you where they perhaps could pose as you.
Right.
And
Right.
so just small things like that, paying attention to what your devices are doing, the things that feel really convenient and nice. Just step back a minute and say, I don't know, do I want this to know where my location is all the time?
Right.
Or do I need to control that a little bit?
Yeah, it's become something that people, kind of growing up were very protective of privacy. And then all of a sudden, all these devices asked and people gave,
That's right.
and then it's almost hard to reel back,
Yeah.
and still be current or,
That's
or
exactly
present.
right.
Yeah.
You just stop and think about it.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's kind of the message. I know you talked about sci-fi, and a lot of sci-fi, what happened is, the machine started doing things for people, and people really weren't questioning or thinking about how that was happening, and then all of a sudden it stops working, and nobody knows what to do, right?
And in that aspect, besides, thinking individually, are there groups of people that you're aware of who are kind of having that discussion?
Well, I'll tell you, at the state and nationally, there's a lot of discussion, obviously. Almost every day you could pick up the paper and read about some sort of security breach or something like that. Our governor's made a huge commitment to cybersecurity. Just in this past General Assembly, there was a bill passed that's called Scholarship for Service. So students can go to school and get relieved of their student debt by working for the state a certain number of years. And that was around, I don't know, some years ago for teachers and things like that. So if you're interested in the cyber field, one nice way to have your loans paid off is to go to school and do the scholarship for service. Work enough years to pay it back. And the federal government is also running something sort of like that. So they're also making it very convenient for people to go into that field as well. And I know a lot of students now, I know just from looking at our first granddaughter that's going to start college, I'm shocked, sticker shocked, really, at the four-year schools and the cost of them. Community college is a great deal. Cyber is an area where you can go get a viable job without the degree. So if you get the certificate, you can get started and then look at the scholarship for service options, or even have your employer perhaps pay for the rest of your degree.
And I guess really, Karen, that as everything's changing so fast, but also when they put in laws in effect, sometimes those can be obsolete, in a very quick matter of time.
Absolutely.
Right? Yeah.
It really comes down to, I think, Gary, individual information and knowledge. And that's what a lot of doing camps with the schools and things like that is about. Just, helping everybody kind of understand what it means to live in this Internet of Things and the connectivity that we have.
Yeah. Well, this has been very interesting. I do know some people who are interested in maybe taking the to get a cyber certificate, cybersecurity certificate.
That's great.
So I'll direct them to lfcc.edu. Okay.
Yeah.
Perfect. Thanks so much for coming on today. I'm just going to wrap up. This has been episode number 95, and our guest Karen Kellison from Lord Fairfax Community College. You've been watching Faces of Winchester with Gary Auerbach on WinLife TV here in Winchester, Virginia. Please share this episode. As always, the more that we can tell people about what we're doing here and the people who are doing the things that are happening around town, the more people know about what's going on. And it's just great information to get out there, and we're so happy that you chose to spend the time with us today. Thank you.